My grandpa became more interested in the family genealogy as he got older. In the last few years of his life, he documented his own memoirs, including his time in artillery for the U.S. Army in the Southeast Asia theater during World War II. I read these memoirs after his death, learning more about the traumas he experienced as a young man. Reflecting on research studies I had read about mice, where their level of trauma changed their DNA, I assumed his trauma-impacted DNA was passed to my mother, and then to me. I have encoding from a war decades before I was born. In December of 2017, I had a vivid dream where a concept emerged, making music from my DNA sequences. I began with the primary assembly patterns of human DNA. Later, I took a DNA test of my own and downloaded the sequences as a text file. And all those ACGT letters and RSIDs was my blueprint, including the transformations from my grandpa's war traumas. Is this something that could be turned into music? The letter sequences were there, 4 simple components that could make up the nucleotides. But what would that sequence sound like? What does my blueprint sound like? Could I convert the components into notes, the positions into timestamps, into a personal melody, thousands of notes long, but the same simple set of 4 notes? Near the end of my grandpa's memoir, he wrote about being in a group of U.S. forces that was going to invade the mainland of Japan. They were being issued new uniforms and weapons, something they had learned during the course of the war that meant that you were going to head into a terrible battle. The mathematicians were predicting that they would be slaughtered, a nearly incomprehensible number of men killed per second when they landed on the shore of Japan. However, rumors started to emerge over the radio and word of mouth. Talk of some type of super bomb that had been developed. Just days before their planned invasion, a first atom bomb was dropped on Japan. And then a second. And the army forces, including my grandpa, were no longer needed for an invasion. The first time I read that, and every time I recall it after, I feel it. I'm only here, recording this now, because of the atom bomb. My DNA carries the weight of these history-altering weapons. Can this somehow be heard in the letters and the sequence? That slimmest likelihood of survival. The horrors of war. Or do the DNA sequences just keep plodding along like sleeping passengers in a vehicle in a near miss, never aware of how close they were to their end?